Hi everybody, my name is Andrea Miller and I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator here at community hospitals and wellness centers. Welcome to Live It, Roasted and Toasted, a food demonstration to teach you simple tips and tricks to live a healthier lifestyle every day. Also, please help me in welcoming Mike Culler, the Vice President of Operations.
Yes.
Here at the hospital.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's going to be my sous chef today. So he, as I was telling you before we started, he hasn't even seen the recipes today, so I'm going to teach him everything as we're going along. So today we're going to make 4 different things. We are making skillet roasted carrots and parsnips. We are making roasted asparagus 2 different ways. We're making a chili lime asparagus and a Parmesan asparagus. And then we are making something really fun, nacho popcorn. So a healthier alternative to microwave popcorn and really tasty. So let's get started. We have a lot of chopping to do.
Good.
So we have a lot of our carrots and parsnips already peeled to save some time, but I wanted to show you what they look like before we peel them. So it's a root vegetable. It looks a lot like a carrot. So I'm going to give Mike a parsnip and he's going to help me to peel it. So we have a tub down here that we can put the scraps in.
Okay.
So you just want to start out by peeling the parsnip, and these are already washed for me. So you would want to wash the parsnips and carrots before you peel them. But just getting all that, the dark layer off. And you don't have to get it all off. If you wash them, then that's fine. And then you also want to trim both ends off. And then you have just a nice little carrot-looking type thing. So a parsnip tastes a lot like a carrot. It's very similar to a carrot in the same family as a carrot. It's a little bit sweeter and nuttier, I think. It's a good source of folate, so good for women that are expecting. And really everybody, folate helps to develop new cells, helps with new cell development. So parsnips are really healthy for you, also a great source of fiber. So now we're going to chop the parsnips. And actually, before we get started, well, let's peel the carrots first. We'll peel the carrots. So. Most of you probably know what a carrot looks like unpeeled, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just buy the little baby carrots from the grocery store. Actually, there's no such thing as baby carrots. They're all big carrots. They all start out like this, and then they're all peeled and ready to go, which you could use in this recipe too if you wanted to save time. So we'll go ahead and
Do we peel going away from us or coming towards us?
I would, well, however you feel confident, but I would recommend away from you.
Okay.
You're doing a great job. I really haven't had to instruct him. He's a pro.
Very good a pupil.
He actually told me before we started that he hasn't been in the kitchen since he got married. So how long have you been married, Mike?
20-some years. I really don't know, but it's 20 plus.
Is Dina in the room?
Glorious days, glorious days. Glorious days. Just seems like yesterday.
Okay. So
I was helping her in the kitchen just like this. My wife and I used to do this all the time.
Before kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to start with the carrots. We're going to chop those. So grab some carrots, Mike, and you can help me get them chopped, and we're going to toss them in the skillet. We're just going to dice them about the size of a baby carrot, so about yay big. And this doesn't have to be, perfect, so try not to let any go off the counter.
We won't pick them up off the floor.
Yeah, if you do, just leave them there. Don't pick them up.
Okay, all right. And put them in here.
I've heard the 5-second rule doesn't really exist, so. But I'm not an expert on that, so.
All of them?
Yep, all the carrots are going to go in there. Yeah, so if you have someone helping you in the kitchen, it definitely goes a lot faster. So if you, get your kids involved, I don't know if you with supervision, teaching them how to use a knife. can be good. Getting them involved in the kitchen can make them more likely to eat the foods that you're preparing. So then we're going to get the parsnips, and you want the parsnips about the same size as the carrots so that they cook evenly. So again, a good way to hold a knife is to put the tip into the cutting board and, just kind of rock it back.
Are these okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Those look great. Perfect.
Okay.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Toss them in. It's a little bit more prep work this time than we did in the first one, but a lot of times, that's one of the biggest barriers with eating vegetables is people say, they just take too long to, to prep. You might not have them in your refrigerator ready to go. A good thing about this dish is these are relatively, carrots and parsnips stay quite a while in your refrigerator. So, if you're looking for a vegetable dish to throw together on a night when you might not have any other vegetables to cook or green vegetables to cook, cooking carrots and parsnips or keeping them in your refrigerator, this could be a good go-to dish. So the reason why I chose a lot of vegetable recipes today, a lot of people don't get enough vegetables. It's recommended to get 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I work with people every day, and it's rare that I see someone getting 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. A lot of times we don't treat vegetables in a special way. Maybe we just boil them or microwave them, and here you go. But today we're doing something special with the vegetables. We're roasting them, which brings out a lot of the flavor, a lot of the natural sugars that are in vegetables come out with roasting. I forgot to add the olive oil. You're adding I'm actually going to measure it. You're adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil to this to help them get nice and golden brown and help them cook. Olive oil contains a lot of monounsaturated fats, which are very heart healthy. So again, just 2 tablespoons, and I'll have Mike just give that a quick stir. Let's see, how's our heat going? I'm going to turn it up maybe
more.
You want it pretty high, so yeah. Because you want them to kind of start getting golden brown. Again, that's going to help develop the natural sugars in the vegetables so that they taste really sweet. Okay, so we're going to let that kind of go for a little bit. And while that cooks, it's going to cook for about 12 minutes, we are going to get started with our other dishes. So we're going to get the asparagus and get that started. So the asparagus is all washed for me, so we just have to trim off the woody stems. So a lot of people might do this with a knife, but I found a new way to snap the woody ends off of asparagus, and it literally changed my life because it's so much faster. Here's a stalk of asparagus. So first of all, choosing asparagus, let me find a really good one here. So you want to make sure that the tip of the asparagus isn't, bruised or look mushy or anything like that. You also want to make sure the end of the stem looks well hydrated, that it's not losing its water content. Asparagus doesn't last real long in your refrigerator. It only lasts for about 2 days. So you want to plan to prepare asparagus within 2 days of purchasing it. So to get the woody end off, I usually hold it about 1 inch from the end, and you just snap it, and it naturally snaps where, I'll give you a couple, and you can snap.
This is easy enough for me wanting, I could maybe want to eat this.
Yeah, this is easy,
yes,
right? This is easier than chopping. So I think roasted asparagus is really easy. Yep, so it's just naturally going to snap where it's tender. Again, like I said, I used to spend forever chopping the ends off, and I found this method and, cut my prep time in half. So asparagus is another thing that's super nutritious for us. It, again, has a lot of folic acid in it. That's one of the key nutrients. Vitamin K as well is in asparagus. And it also has a fun little trendy nutrition nutrient in it called inulin, which is actually a prebiotic. And prebiotics and probiotics are a really trendy topic right now. Yeah, go ahead and give those a quick stir for me so they don't burn. Good job, Chef. So they're really trendy in nutrition right now. A prebiotic is essentially a food for a probiotic. So really good for intestinal health. asparagus is. So once you get all of your asparagus cleaned, you're going to put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. So for the first recipe that we're doing, the chili lime asparagus, you do need the parchment paper. I tried it without the parchment paper, and the chili powder gets really burnt and kind of unpalatable when it's just on the plain cookie sheet, and the parchment paper helps it from getting that burnt. So you have the asparagus at a pretty high heat when you're roasting it. I believe the sheet says 450. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Does it say 400 or 450? 400, sorry. So 400 degrees. So it's all ready to go. All we have to do is put our seasoning on it. So for this seasoning, I'll have Mike do this. We need a tablespoon of olive oil again for the seasoning. So there's the olive oil. And then we're going to use a teaspoon of chili powder.
Teaspoon.
A teaspoon.
I got to find a teaspoon right there.
There you go. A teaspoon of chili powder. And then some lime juice. So I have a fresh lime here. You don't have to use a fresh lime. Actually, when I make it at home, I just use the bottled lime juice just because it's more convenient, and I always have it in my refrigerator. I don't always have limes in my refrigerator. For a whole lime, though, a lot of times if you roll it, that helps to get the juices out. And then you slice it in half, and then you just squeeze the lime into there. You need about a tablespoon of lime juice. And I don't see any seeds in here, but if there are any seeds, you'd want to kind of fish them out. You don't want to be crunching into a seed with your asparagus. So how do you feel about asparagus, Mike?
Oh, I'm adapting to this taste here already. I think I'm going to like it.
So my husband, I hear it's not his favorite vegetable.
Yes, if you can convince me to eat this, I think you've done a great job.
All right.
I think you've done a wonderful
I
job.
made this for my husband, and he said to me, you know, I like asparagus, I'll eat it, but when he tried this recipe, he said, that was really good. I really enjoyed eating that asparagus.
So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to try it.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a quick whisk. Can you give our vegetables another
yep.
stir?
Sometimes I get unfocused here in the kitchen.
Those are looking good. We'll hurry with this because we're going to be adding
Maybe
the
that's
water
why
here.
she doesn't let me help in the
No,
kitchen.
that looks great. We'll just give that another couple seconds real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so we have our little sauce here, and we're just going to pour it over the asparagus. And then just kind of roll them around so they're all coated. And then you pop them in the oven for about 15 minutes until they're starting to get golden brown and they're tender. Let me go ahead and turn that down a second. Until they're tender, and then when they're fork tender, they're done. And you take them out of the oven, and you take your microplane here, and you can grate some lime zest onto the asparagus. You don't have to do this. This is optional. It's kind of... and a little bit of salt if you want, and then you serve it. If you're doing the Parmesan asparagus, you skip the chili powder and skip the lime juice and just use the olive oil, roll it in the olive oil, and then instead of the lime, you use the Parmesan cheese and grate the Parmesan cheese over it. So this is fresh Parmesan cheese. I prefer fresh because it adds more flavor than the bottled Parmesan cheese, but you could certainly use that too. If you've never tried fresh Parmesan cheese, it's super nutty, and it's just a whole different taste experience than the regular bottled Parmesan cheese. Okay, so now we're going to come back to this, and now we're going to add some liquid to help the vegetables cook all the way through. So you need a half of a cup. Ooh, this is coming out slow. It's going to take us forever to get a half of a cup. A half a cup of hot water. Let's see. And a teaspoon. I'm going to have you open this. We need a teaspoon of honey, and I'm going to have you just eyeball it because I hate measuring honey because it just gets stuck in the,
So
we'll eyeball it. Do a little bit more. That looks good. So a teaspoon of honey, you can measure it at home if you want to. And then you just stir it with a fork or a whisk just to incorporate it. This is going to add a little touch of sweetness, and the sugar can also help a little bit with the browning. And then I'll just have you dump that in there. Going to make some cubes.
But you know what you just did, Andrea, that I always found interesting over the years with my grandma.
Yeah.
Great cook, just like you. But she'd always tell the family recipe, but she would leave out like how much you do it, and it's just always a pinch or something.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, we never knew how much the pinch was.
Did I tell you?
Well, yeah, but I was just like, Grandma would leave that pinch out. I never, how would I know that, how much to put in there?
Just eyeball it, right?
Yeah, just eyeball it. Grandma knew better.
Okay, so now that simmers for about another 10 minutes. So while that's simmering, we're going to go ahead and do our popcorn. So this is
this will be good.
fun, and we're gonna keep an eye on that too while we're doing the popcorn. Gonna get some heat. You want it over about medium heat on your stove. So why are we doing popcorn on a stove? Why not just put it in the microwave and use microwave popcorn? First of all, the seasoning that we're going to use right now is really fun. Second of all, microwave popcorn is more expensive than buying it in the whole popcorn kernels. And number three, there's some concern over the chemicals that are found in the lining of the bag of popcorn that they might not be super good for us. So microwave popcorn or stovetop popcorn is definitely, in my opinion, the way to go. And popcorn can actually be a really healthy snack because it's low calorie, high in fiber, and it is considered to be a whole grain. So I love popcorn as a snack. So before actually we get started with the heat, we are going to get the spices ground. Oops. So I'm going to have Mike come over here and you get to add the spices. So spices in themselves have a lot of nutritional benefits, a lot of antioxidants, and each spice has its own nutritional properties that help to prevent chronic diseases. So we are adding some garlic powder, and I'll just have you put it in a coffee grinder. You could either use a coffee grinder, a food processor, a blender, but basically we just want to grind the spices so they're all...
So do them all right now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and add them in. So garlic powder, and just a teaspoon.
You got a little spoon there.
We'll use a
yes. Help.
measuring spoon. Garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, chili powder, paprika, a teaspoon of all of those, and then also a teaspoon of salt and a pinch of cayenne, of cayenne pepper to taste. We're using 1/8 of a teaspoon, but you could use more or less depending on whether your family likes spicy food. So the cayenne is going to add the heat. And then we are going to add a special ingredient called nutritional yeast. You can buy nutritional yeast at most health food stores. All Things Food in town also carries it. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it was $2.50 or $2.25 for a cup of nutritional yeast. It's a good source of protein. It's a complete protein. There are 9 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons. So what does nutritional yeast taste like? It kind of tastes a little bit cheesy. It's not creamy like cheese, but it has like a little bit of a nutty sharpness, I guess, that kind of resembles cheese. I don't like to think of it as cheese. If you think, oh, I'm eating cheese now, you're probably not going to be satisfied, but it does offer a little bit of those flavors. So we're going to add that to the coffee grinder as well. And while he's doing that, I'm going to stir. Uh-oh.
I can stir.
We're going to have a problem getting this lid off. Can we get a hot pad holder or a paper towel or something?
Yeah. That's okay.
Don't worry, we're close
We're
to
having
the
fun.
ER.
We're having fun. And hopefully this doesn't burn the table.
All right. Oh, I should have used my apron.
I should have used my apron. I knew better. It's been a while since I've been in the kitchen with a hot plate.
Or an apron.
Or an apron. I agree.
All right, and these are actually done, so we'll just let them sit here in the pan for a second while we finish up our popcorn.
Okay.
But I turned the heat off, so don't let it keep heating, but all the liquid is absorbed, so they're done. So back to our popcorn here. Let you come back over, and we'll put the lid on. And then all you have to do is press the on button. So it's just grinding it up into a fine powder so that it sticks. All right, good. So a fine powder so it sticks to the popcorn better. And then we're just going to leave it there for a second until we're ready to use it on our popcorn. So now let's get started cooking popcorn on the stove. So how many of you have cooked popcorn on a stove? 1, 2.
Jeez, that's great.
Oh, quite a few. So we have quite a few people that have cooked popcorn on a stove, but if you haven't at home, here's how to do it. So we need some olive oil, or you could use another type of oil if you wanted. I prefer olive oil again because of the heart health benefits of olive oil. So we need about a tablespoon. We're going to turn the heat on. This little gizmo heats up, pretty quickly. Apparently I can't lift it off. And you also need a lid, because popcorn can go flying, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put 1 popcorn kernel in the oil, and we're just going to wait for it to pop, because when it pops, it tells us that the popcorn is ready to go. So
That's interesting.
Or that the oil is hot enough for the popcorn to pop, because you want it to pop pretty quickly once the popcorn gets into the pan. So while we're waiting for that to pop and the oil to heat up, I'm going to finish up the carrot and parsnip dish, which is pretty simple. So we have parsley. So interestingly, parsnips, carrots, and parsley are all in the same family of vegetables. So I thought it was kind of neat that they're all
Put them together.
Incorporated in the same dish. So just chop the parsley finely. And again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. It just looks kind of pretty up against the orange and the white. And you can discard the stems. You don't really want the stems in there. So just give it a quick chop. That's getting hot. It's going to pop. Hopefully it doesn't pop on me. And then you can just sprinkle that on our carrots and parsnips. How pretty does that look?
Oh,
Gorgeous, right?
very, very
Look
nice.
at that contrast of colors. And that's,
Yes.
Choosing a variety of different colors of fruits and vegetables offers the most health benefits. All the different colors contain different nutrients that our bodies need. So this is, I can see, there it goes. Okay, we are ready for the popcorn. So add the popcorn in, kind of toss it around a little bit, like that. And you want to cover it. And you just kind of shake the popcorn, shake the pan. Do you want to do it?
Nope.
Just kind of
Oh, you just want me to keep shaking.
So just, set it still a little bit and kind of occasionally give it a little shake.
Okay.
And eventually it'll all start popping, that lovely popcorn sound.
Smell. I like the smell of it.
So the oil on here actually serves an important purpose as well. It's going to help the popcorn stick, or not the seasoning stick to the popcorn. So that's why it's important to use the oil instead of doing like a air popper or something like that. And it's popping. Sounds great.
Can we look?
I wouldn't recommend lifting the lid, or the front row might get some popcorn kernels in their eyes. Yeah, you can use you can use a deep stock pot. You just need something with a lid. I use a clear glass lid at home so I can watch it, because I like to watch it.
Yeah, you like to watch it.
Yeah, but it's done when you stop hearing the pops. So it's still going. You can do any sort of seasoning you want on popcorn pop like this. You could just leave it to olive oil. You could add a little bit of salt to it and keep it simple. Parmesan cheese is another popular topping. A lot of people just use the nutritional yeast on it as well. So nutritional yeast is a really popular topping for popcorn. That looks pretty good.
I think we're ready.
We're done. So go ahead and dump it in that glass bowl. And if there's some extra liquid on the lid, you can always just wipe it off with a cloth. We're still cooking here. Okay, so we're going to dump it in the bowl. And then you dump as much or as little seasoning on as you want. So I prefer a little bit less, but then you just give it a stir and you're ready to go. So with the seasoning, also at home, a little trick to save time. When I make this seasoning, I double it and then I store it in an airtight container, and it'll last, as long as spices will last in your pantry. So anytime I want to prepare this popcorn, I can save a step of getting out my coffee grinder. I can just, pour a little seasoning on it. So we've now prepared our skillet roasted carrots and parsnips, our asparagus, and our popcorn. As someone's eating a chip, I was just reminded that this seasoning also goes really well if you wanted to make some homemade tortilla chips. If you take like whole grain tortillas and brush them with olive oil and sprinkle this seasoning on it, it kind of tastes like a taco chip. So there are lots of different things that you can do with this seasoning. I've also taken this seasoning and just to tie in last month, I've added this seasoning to the enchilada bake instead of the other spices. And the nutritional yeast in the enchilada bake helps to make it a little bit more creamy. You can add nutritional yeast to soups, casseroles, pasta dishes. I like to add it to like macaroni and cheese. Anything that has cheese, it goes really well with, just enhances the cheesy flavor of the cheese.
I can see the crowds just wanting to eat this food.
I know.
I can just see it. Look at them.
We better
There's a couple back there licking their lips. They just want to.
These guys are hungry.
Oh, they're hungry, and they're wanting to get back to work after eating lunch.
And I think Mike wants to try some asparagus.
Oh yeah, so. I'm going to try some asparagus off camera.
So thank you all for coming. You were a great audience, and I hope you enjoy the recipes and your families like them too.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I think that was
excellent. Very good.
He's still eating it. He didn't spit it out.